All right. All praises to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shah, by Hashem, Rakal Kodash. Double honors to the apostles, the elders, and honors to Akim that push this truth out in sincerity, week in and week out. And can I get Jeremiah 28:8? So that's what we doing. We just prophesying the downfall of this kingdom, Babylon the Great, and the so-called white man's destruction. All right, starting with the elites of them on down to the average one.
This is Jeremiah chapter 28, verse 8. The prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms of war and of evil and of pestilence.
That's right. And in America, Babylon the Great is a kingdom of war, evil, and pestilence. But we doing what the prophets did in the ancient kingdoms. Every kingdom that stood up, that was lifted up, the men of the Lord went out and prophesied against it, and it fell. So that's what we doing now. In these latter times, we prophesying the downfall of the so-called white man known as Esau and his kingdom, and his major this harlot America is his power source, and we prophesying against it. It's destruction.
This is Ezekiel chapter 35, verse 1. It says, Moreover, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir and prophesy against it.
And that's it. That's America's so-called white man. Mount Seir, the so-called white man, all right? And we prophesying against it. That's why we go out week in and week out. And we can tell that the truth is getting to them because they got their algos to try to delete channels and strike channels, because this truth is burning, is cutting them through the unicorn. And the unicorn is the internet.
Verse 3, it says, And say unto it, Thus saith the Lord power, Behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee, and I will stretch out my hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate.
That's right. The Lord is going to stretch out his hand against Babylon and make it desolate. How would this place become desolate? Through thermonuclear destruction, and also the Lord rebuking this place with concentrated fire from those chariots, which the world call UFOs.
I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel.
Yeah, so this place going to be made desolate once again, meaning this place going to be turned into a desert. And why? Because what the so-called white man did to the children of Israel. Repeat that.
It says, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred.
Yeah, because so-called white man had an ongoing, a never ending. Perpetual means ongoing hatred for the nation of Israel. And the hatred, you can see the hatred, how people are messed up right now in the ghettos. Why? Because there's a scarcity of opportunity. There's a few resources out there, and that's why you have certain people that's prospering out of Jake's, but that was set up like that. Okay, but is a scarcity of goods. So-called white man has it like that. Look what he did with Planned Parenthood, positive negative eugenics. Look what he did with to the Northern Kingdom, Gad Reuben, and so on and so forth. All right, how he stole this land, and he slaughtered the nation of Israel, put the nation of Israel in slavery.
It says, and has shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity.
And that's right. and you didn't hold back. You went extra with the nation of Israel. You went overboard, man. And you still doing it with these abortion clinics, prison industrial industry, because you could create criminals when there's a lack of opportunity. The weak of our people, you know, will stoop to committing crimes.
It says, in the time that their iniquity had an end, therefore, as I live, said the Lord power, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee.
Yeah, blood gonna pursue the so-called white man. All your devices gonna fall. You're gonna fall in your own snare. Okay, it's gonna be race riots. All right, there's gonna be class riots. These other nations are gonna attack you. The trap you set for the nation of Israel is gonna fall on your own head.
It says, since thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee.
That's right. Esau hasn't hated blood. All right. He doesn't sleep until he has done something evil, man. He got his think tanks doing things. All right. Look, he's planning to tag every woman, child, every man, every boy. He's planning on every nationality. He plans on tagging them. All right. And also loosing more plagues.
Psalms 83, verse 2. Hello, enemies.
That's right. All these nations are in league with each other to destroy the nation of Israel, and the so-called white man has lifted up his head, his pride against us. Okay.
Hello, they crafty counsel against thy people, and counsel ones.
They meet in dark. They meet in secret to further destroy the nation of Israel, and they set up puppet leaders. But these other heathens, all the nations that's outside of the nation of Israel, the so-called white man, it was Esau, the Arabs, Ishmael, Elam, East Indians, all right, Moab, Ammon, these gooks, okay, they all Ham, they all Japhet, they all meet up together to further destroy the nation of Israel, because basically we're they parasite off of us. We are the consumers. Well, we spend trillions of dollars in this country alone. Okay.
Back in Ezekiel chapter 35, verse 7, it says, thus will I make Mount Seir most desolate, and cut off from it him that passeth out, and him that returneth.
Again, this place is and Esau is going to be made desolate, and this country is going to be made desolate, mainly by intercontinental ballistic missiles. All right, that's the only thing that's going to make this place desolate. And the Lord, when He returns with the angels, shooting concentrated fire on this country, and it proves that. Look, why you think they so heavy on defense? Not only against themselves, but they know the Lord is going to return. They see the curse that goes out throughout the earth, the chariots, all right, and they know it's a big. They really more scared than what they show you, man. They in fear.
Book of Job, chapter 5, verse 12. It says, he disappointed the devices of the crafty. Now the crafty is the elites. And it says their devices. Now the devices comprise of the MOTB, was that's their main device they want to bring to the world, and along with other things such as smart cities, the Internet of Things, the 6G system, because everything ties in together into one database, and if everything is in one database, people could no longer live under the radar. So what it is, the lead of Esau, they want total control, total control of everything. So the Most High said he disappointed the devices of their crafty, the mechanism that they're using to complete this objective. And it says so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. What are the enterprise? The New World Disorder, because it's not going to be performed. And it says, he taketh the wise in their own craftiness. Who taketh the wise in their own craftiness? The Most High. Because it's the Most High who put inside their mind the thoughts. And it's the Most High who put the thoughts in their mind that everything's going to be successful. But it's not. But the Lord is just using them to fulfill his prophecies. And it says, he taketh the wise in their own craftiness, and the counsel of the forward is carried headlong.
This is Job chapter 20, verse 23. It says, when he is about to fill his belly, the Most High shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and shall rain it upon him while he is eating.
Right. It says when he's about to fill his belly. Now, what it means to fill his belly? Meaning, when he tried to complete his full objective of bringing in this New World Disorder, and the full end of the New World Disorder is when they try to implement globally the MOTB. And once Esau tried to do that, that's when the Most High is gonna speed everything up, and it's gonna rain on them while they're eating, because it's all about expansion. But the Most High is not with Esau expansion, and everything Esau was able to accomplish and expand, it was given to them by the Most High. So now the Most High is changing the gears on them, because the only expansion is going to happen is the kingdom of Yahweh Shah, and the elect that is joint heirs with Yahweh Shah. Okay.
Um, 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 11. Let Satan get an advantage of us ignorant.
Yeah, Lord willing, we the elect. We not ignorant of the adversary's devices, his schemes. His schemes to bring about his new world disorder, like the brother mentioned. We already know everything he's plotting on doing through war, through finances, crashes, plagues. All of these things are set up. Civil unrest. All these things are devices set up to bring about his so-called new world order. All right, and we know that's his plots to do that.
Of 2nd Ezra chapter 16, verse 19. Oh, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sin as scourges for amendments.
All right, it's scourges. Those are all judgment. The Lord's judgment. Those are all a sword. To destroy. Okay. Yeah, those are all things set for destroy. 2/3 of our people, and of course these heathens. All right.
So yeah, like it speaks about scourges for amendment, right? Now, when we look up the word scourge, there we go, got it on the screen. Now, just the English definition for scourge: a whip used as an instrument of punishment. So, amendment, make an amendment for something, that means you're making things right. and the way they're gonna make things right is by, is by through the Most High bringing judgment on them. That's what the 2/3, because Esau, he can't get right with the Lord, but the 2/3, they're gonna receive judgment from the Most High, and they're gonna die on this side. But when they cross over to the kingdom, they're gonna be right in the eyes of the Most High. And I had Isaiah 28. Yeah, 28 and 15. It says, because ye have said, we have made a covenant with death, and with hell are we at agreement. When the overflowing scourge, they go that word scourge again, which is to whip. I mean, now generations today they don't get that ass whooping like generations before. Like, I seen a video on Instagram, and it was like I don't know if the kid was 3 years old, 4 years old, and he's playing in the fish tank. And I was thinking to myself, when I was a kid, that don't even cross my mind, yeah, because back, that's when you was getting whipped with the extension cord. Remember the telephone line extension cord? Oh, yeah. And you could hear it, cutting through the wind. Yeah. So that's how it was back then. But now these generations now, they don't get scourges from their parents. So the Most High, he's gonna scourge this generation of Israel, because they not right. And it says with the overflowing scourge. Now, something that overflow, meaning it runs over. Like, you have here a cup, and when that cup fill up, what's gonna happen is gonna overflow. And that just mean Israel, they that's what scripture said, they surpass the wicked, because their judgment is long overdue. Because just like Esau gonna receive his judgment, 2/3 gonna receive their judgment. And it says, when the overflowing scourge shall pass through, it shall not come unto us. Who's us? That's the elect. Because we're catching hell right now. We living in a state of uncomfortability, because that's the Most High scourging us. But things we may be doing presently, the things we may did in our past life, but the Most High is not putting us to death. He just scourging us. So what's that scripture that says that we won't be judged with the wicked? If you know, that's that off top. The Most High is punishing us, so we won't be judged with the wicked. And it says, I don't say that verbatim, but and it says, when the overflowing scourge shall come, so like it shall pass through, it shall not come unto us. For we have made lies our refuge, and that's 2/3 of Israel. They're the ones that made lies their refuge. Because what's a place of refuge? It's safety there. Because when we tell them the truth, it's an uncomfortable truth. So a lot of our people, what they did was they invested a lot into this world. So we tell them things that they're not gonna be able to enjoy their annuity, their 401k, purchase a second home, whatever they have for their long-term goals, and we're telling them it's not going to be completed. We're looked at as party crashers or negative. So they will come up with in their mind, well, they've been saying the world was going to end. My grandparents been saying that. So that's them running to lies for refuge. Even though when you turn on the news, you got Esau telling you himself that the chariots, the so-called UFOs are real, and you see all the things happen in the world, people never seen in history, but they still find a way to convince themselves that we're not living in the end times. And it says, under falsehood have we hid ourselves. That's it on that.
So you got our people that's joined with the lesser luminaries, and they think they're gonna survive during a time of Jacob's trouble. You all right? You read the remember you read the scripture Job, I think it was 5 and 12, enterprise, so they cannot perform the enterprise. This is this showing that about that enterprise, their new world order. This is from Jordan's Maxwell book, Matrix of Power. Annuit coeptus. Annuit is translated as our enterprise, and the word coeptus is translated as crowned with success. Together, the two words means our enterprise is crowned with is our enterprise is now a success or crowned with success, you know?
Verse 20. But for all these things, it shall not turn. This.
Yeah, so they that's dealing with Jake, right? Yeah, they're not gonna turn. They see the prophets out week in and week out. They see the current events. They see everything in the scriptures. They see unfolding with the plan. They plan the MOTB. These devils plan on tagging everyone. You know, they see that. And then you got Israelite camps that's not speaking on that and saying that's not the MOTB. All right. So they see all these things, and Jake still ain't taking heed.
So it says, no, be always mindful of the scourges. Victuals shall be so good. They shall think themselves to be good. And
oh yeah, the goods are not hyper, and they're not as really hyper inflated as of yet, where you need a damn wheelbarrow of capital to go purchase something. You have something to say, Ak?
Yeah.
I know.
Another thing is you have a term known as deflation, and deflation usually a sign of a failing business. So what happened at times when a business is failing, they gotta put a lot of things on sale. They got a lot of clearances. They got to make somewhat back, you know, before they close out. But people will see these sales. Oh, you could buy this for this amount, you know. But it seems like a good thing, but that signs of failing businesses. Because what happened when business fell? When business begins to fail, people get laid off. People begin to lose work. And when people lose work, people spend less. When more people spend less, other business began to fail. When other business began to fail, what happened? You have to lay people off as well. Then more people start spending less. And it seems like things are, you know, looking good because now you go in the store, you go buy this Beats speakers, you know, you can walk outside and it's on sale now. It's not a good thing. It's actually a bad thing because businesses are failing. So they're gonna think themselves into being a good case. Is more on that?
oh, victual shall be so good cheap upon the earth that they shall think themselves to be in good case. And even then shall evil grow upon the earth, sword, famine, and great confusion.
So while all these things are happening, you got the famine and plagues, more plagues on the rise after that. Okay. And then what else? When Esau says when they shall say peace and safety, right? Then sudden destruction cometh, falleth upon them. So there's no out. It's basically the Lord's judgment is about to unfold. All right.
And a while back, they was hitting people with stimulus. You know, they was giving people extra Hold on. Move some of the stuff around. Yeah, it was getting people extra for their unemployment. You know, at one point, people didn't want to go back to work because you was getting more than what you was getting, you know, going to work. And then, you know, they had the assistant rental, but assistant rent, emergency programs, paying people rent, their utility bills, filling your gas, and, you know, all utility stuff. And it seemed like a good thing. Like, you know, oh, that's good. We got it. But that's a failing economy. That means things about to get bad.
Beware of Greeks bearing gifts. All right, just like going back to the story. It's not true, but it is a lot of it's symbolic. The Trojan horse. All right.
A gift destroy the heart. The gifts.
Right. Like just Malak said, a gift destroyeth the heart. Yeah. Okay.
This is Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 3. And it says, in the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, it says, and the strong men shall bow themselves and the grinders cease because they are few. And that's what's going on right now, man. The keepers of the house is trembling, man. All right. A lot of these businesses is failing. I actually seen what the brothers was talking about earlier today. Got like some department store and it's like, yo, closing down sale. 25%, 50% off, and you seen that more regularly right now, man.
I can say something real quick. You know, sometimes you might take a walk somewhere, or you might go to a spot, that you used to go to a lot, pre-pandemic. You go there, it's spray paint on the windows. The place went out of business. Is boarded up, getting ready to rent to another, business, whatever. Like, the brothers went out to go watch a game, watch the finals at a spot, and the conversation came up about it's a spot, in Manhattan that used to get a lot of business because brothers after camp used to go there all the time, get some, frozen, margaritas, and it was actually that spot open. Like now they went out of business. This is in the city. They had to be hitting like at least $1 million a day. As much customers that was coming in and out. But after the pandemic, all they businesses had under different names. They all went out of business, and they all packed up. And you see that a lot in a lot of locations. Businesses not doing too well, and you thought that business was thriving, but you look there again. It's not even there no more.
Their overhead was over their head, man. All right. And all of these things, man, the rent, the costs, all that take place. Look, Barnes and Noble's on 86 and 3rd Ave, all right, right there on the east side, upper east side. They went under, right? Yeah, they went under. And then before the pandemic, you remember Lord and Taylor? They went out. That was like, under like Saks Fifth Ave. They went under, So that's just showing this place crumbling.
Read it again. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 3. And it says, in the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few. So
you've read Strong Men. I was looking at, and I got the blue letter pulled up. Let me see. Look at that word strong. Okay, strong right here, right? The word there for strong.
Strong's H2428. Chayil. Chayil.
And the meaning for strong is used for strength, might, efficiency, or wealth of army. So it could be reference towards wealth. So strong would mean you could say the wealthy man. Because a person that has wealth is a person that has power. But if they bound themselves that means they take it on position of a person that doesn't have any power or a servant.
Like you mentioned now, what does scripture say? Money is a defense, right? Right. So, yep, that's he hit it right on. You have something to say, Al? All right.
It says, those that look out of the windows be darkened.
Go back to
Okay. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 12. Like this? Okay, chapter 12, verse 3. And it says, in the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves.
Like pretty much, that got to do with property owners, people that own businesses, landlords. Because a landlord, that's a law over the property, a lord over the. It literally means lord over the land,
Like you
or master over the land.
I like you was gonna say that because I already know who your name gonna pop up. Jay Morrison. He wrote a book, Lord of the Land, right, or something like that. You know, the real estate dude. And I'm glad you said strongman. You got one dude, Don Peebles. His plan is on. He already got the money. He building an affirmation tower. It's supposed to be the tallest building on the Western Hemisphere, right over there by the Javits Center. He already got the money, everything laid out. But I don't see no hope for this place. But I'm just saying that's his plans. So that's why you said when they should look out the window. Yeah, their visions for tomorrow and in future. That's gonna be shot. But you got it.
It says, and those that look out the windows be darkened and all right. All right. And it says, verse 4, and it says, and the doors. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 3. It says, in the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few.
So the strong men are the men that are doing well, which is wealthy guys, the rich guys. Because you see what's happening now, they removing, or then they've removed the middle class. Either you're rich or you're poor. So everybody is feeling the hit from this super hyperinflation, from the pandemic, and it's hitting everybody. And it says they shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease. What are the grinders? The grinders represents employment, because in ancient time, if you wanted to make a cake or bread, you had to get the seeds. If you want wheat, you had to get the wheat. You had to put it to the grinder, and that's how you made your flour. So you had to work for it. In ancient times, they didn't have a NutriBullet. You had to go to the grind mill. You have to work. You busting your ass. You sweating. So that represents employment. So it says the grinders cease because they are few, and that's what it is right now. After they gave all the benefits out, and unemployment ran out, all the benefits ran out, everybody running to go back to work now. And guess what? If nobody can find it, it's almost impossible to find employment right now. That's why most people, they look into, do food delivery, working at Uber Eats, and things like that. But even now, with inflation and gas prices rising, most people are spending more money in gas than they getting from doing deliveries. And it says, and those that look out of the window be darkened. So you look out the windows, there's nothing, there's no bright future.
It says, and the doors shall be shut in the street when the sound of the grinding is low. So that's right, man. So the doors are going to be shut, man. Like all these doors for all these businesses is going to be shut. Everything is closing down. I was talking to a lady the other day at a restaurant I haven't been to in a couple of years, and I ordered something and she didn't have it. And I said, what's going on? She said, it don't make any sense. It don't make any sense. I have to close down. America ain't the same no more. You know what I'm saying?
The Lord ruleth in the kingdom of men, But he's using elites, and now the elites, their thing is that's all social engineering. What they doing with no jobs, the inflated money or deflated money, that's all engineered. You know what I mean? Regardless of what they say, it's social engineering.
It says, and he shall rise up at the sound of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. And you know, this is a society we living in right now, man.
Yeah, because before we had alarm clocks, you'll wake up and you know, well, even you go to the island now, you know, you wake up, you hear that rooster crowing, and you know it's time to wake up. Yeah, you say.
For my mother in Trinidad, I be hearing a rooster in the background.
Yeah, so that's the sound of the bird. You know, so because you know, which in today you have alarm clocks. You know, like you ain't got a job. You know, you going to bed whatever time because you ain't really got nothing to do in the morning unless you got kids. You got to take them to school, whatever. But you know, you ain't. You know, a lot of people they not. A lot of people not working and they don't got to set their alarm clock for the morning because they have no employment. You see what I'm saying?
Revelations 14, verse 7, saying with a loud voice, fear the Most High and give glory to him, for the hour of his judgment is come.
Yeah, you have to fear the Lord, and how you fear the Lord by keeping His commandments, and we showing we fear the Lord when we do this work and when we go out to camp. All right, because we know the Lord is going to return unexpected like a thief, and we already know He's gonna like a thief in the night, because Esau is he's at the height of his power. All right, he's at the height. He's about to issue that he about to tag the 2/3 and the rest of these heathens, all right, with that MOTB, all right, that dog tag.
For the hour of his judgment is come, and worship him that made heaven, earth, and the sea, the fountains of the water. Babylon is falling.
Yes, that's right. So the Lord with the angels, he made the universe, the earth, okay, the foundations, and Babylon is falling, meaning that's falling when it gets hit with those intercontinental ballistic missiles, when the Lord shoots that concentrated fire, all right, on this place. And it's gonna fall, and it's gonna become the habitation of desert creatures.
The fallen angel saying, Babylon is fallen, great city. But she in all nations drink.
Yeah, Babylon, the great, that great city. That city is America. Is deprived. You have citizens here. All right, you have citizens here, and each this place is considered a city that's comprised of multiple cities. All right, and this harlot, which is America, done got the nations drunk. Her philosophies. What are some of her philosophies? What's one of these philosophies that's popping up? Generational wealth and geared towards our people. That's a philosophy. This is not our rest. It's not. Me and Yazan was talking the other day. We was like, yo, let's suppose all Jake, I don't want to keep blabbering. Suppose all Jake got so-called leveled up. All they control the system. All they got to do is make something else up and shit. Prices get sky high or whatever. This is Esau playing field. This is not our rest. So that philosophy of leveling up generational wealth, that's that wine.
Yeah, but you know that's actually you're right, because you know you're not supposed to be, you know, dependent on employment from Esau. That's why. So what? You depending on the government, you know, because that's actually, you know, how it got Jake into the slave, you know, state of mind. Because, you know, secondly, you have generational wealth and you have, you know, family businesses, you know, because that's really what it is. Generational wealth is the family business. And you had a family business. That's why you have PC Richards and Son. You know, you have um what is another family? I believe that Lowe's at one time before they got bought out, it was a family businesses. A lot of these major corporations, Walmart. I was just about to say Walmart. Before Walmart got bought out, that was considered a family business. Most of everything you think of was considered a family business, and it got bought out. But it started with a family businesses. And Jake don't have no family businesses that they could, you know, after you leave school, he could take over. You know, Pop's getting old, so let me take over so Pops can chill and relax. Ain't got to stress too much. Give him a hand here and there. You know, help run it. You know, Jake finished school, and most of these women, the first thing they go to is the college system. They go to college, they chase after ESOL education, and you know what comes out of that? They looking to work for another man establishment or another family establishment. But you know, Jake, you know, he might go to college or he chasing after a scholarship or trying to become a rapper, join the military, or he's trying to, you know, he's in the streets, you know, scamming or trying to become the next you know, big time Nino Brown, you know, but they really don't have no guidance of, but they use, you know how to use the term financial literacy, so to speak. Yeah. They have no sense of financial literacy. They don't understand credit, you know. Yeah. Now we're not supposed to be in a credit system, but you know, being that it's here, is a way to exploit it, you know, and all the heathens know it, you know. Moab understand it, Ishmael understand it, you know, Esau of course understand it, but Jake, you know, they have no clue. Because one thing about they just love complaining, you know, because Jake don't really want solutions. They just like to complain, you know. Which you could blame the so-called white man, but Jake, some of the stuff that Jake do, they just got low they have low what's the word, expectations. It is low expectations, and they fear. It all goes back to fearing the so-called white man. So they'll fear the so-called white man, but not fear the Most High.
Was it TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax? And it's the middle one is the median one is the highest score. Some shit like that. Although you brothers though.
First Corinthians chapter 7, verse 21. It says, First Corinthians chapter 7, verse 21.
Yeah, kind. So you know, Jake's.
I just want to say something. Yeah, because this came to my mind before I forget, and that was like if you go find it, if it's still on YouTube. It was a woman named she did a book called The Liberty Dumbed Down of America. I forget her name exactly, but she was on Alex Jones' channel. Forget her name.
Susie Orman?
Charlotte Isaby. Charlotte Isaby. That's her name. Charlotte Isaby. And she touched on different topic because she goes into her background. Father was a member of the Skulls and Bones, and then she worked for the Board of Education, and then she started doing more digging on the history and the purpose of the Board of Education, how it was really set up to dumb people down and to remove what the children was learning from getting from home. To use the term defreezing. So let's say you have a belief system, you was taught, about the Bible. By the time you go to school, they'll teach you what the idea of the world. It's okay to do this. It's okay to have sex, whenever you feel like it. But whatever you was taught at home, they had to unfreeze it. But yeah, it might still be on YouTube. They call it Delivery Dumbing Down of America. She wrote a book, but she had a couple of interviews and she goes into it.
So you're talking about Lamar, so 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 31. And they that use the world are not abusing of it, for the fashion of this world passeth away.
Supposed to use the world, not abuse it. The fashion of this world passive away. Yeah, everything that's this whole system is gonna pass away. So you're not supposed to be 100% all into this place. This place is just a temporary place of a prison system for us. Temporarily.
Being overly invested.
Overly invested. All your eggs in one basket.
Yeah, you're not supposed to be overly invested into this world because one, you have to somewhat invest into it because you have to live here. You have to work. You have to save up. For your future bills. You got to pay your Con Edison, maybe your National Grid. Then you got to pay your car insurance. You need more. You're gonna need money for food for the side. Your phone bill. If you got kids, if your kids have their necessities, transportation. So you may try to do things on the side, so you don't be so far behind or struggle that much, but you don't be overly invested into it. That's a problem with Jake. Jake get too invested into it, and they never content, and they would say, "I want everything that the world have to offer." That's why somebody found it says having food and raiment, let it be with content. Because the Most High, He may bless you, and you may be up for a while, and you take that blessing. You may help out other brothers that's in the jam because we all one body. But our mind is not to become, the next Elon Musk. Which we understand he's a puppet, but we're not trying to hit the billies. Look, we content. We content just what we have.
This is 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 7. It says, "For we brought nothing into this world, and it is certain we can carry nothing out."
Right. Because you was born, you came out of your mother's womb naked, and when you leaving, the only thing that's gonna leave is your spirit. And your spirit gonna go to the spiritual world, and that's it. You can't take your mansion with you, your retirement plans. That's why most people die. What happens? It goes to their kids or their grandkids. You can't take that with you. All that hard work, it get left behind. That's what you read Ecclesiastes, King Solomon kept saying, vanity is vanity, all is vanity. And then he was talking about the labor of wisdom and knowledge and possession, and he labor in righteousness. But at the end, when you cross over, you don't know if your possession is going to be left behind to a wise man or a fool. And you labor all your life to be a wise man. That's what Solomon would say. All of this stuff is vain. Go ahead.
It says, "And having food and raiment, let us be therewith content."
Right. And it says having food and raiment, let it be with content. Because, we know there's a limit to everything, because once you become overly invested, the spirit, the righteous spirit begin to suffer. You start spending times to the things of the Most High. You're not reading, you're not praying, you're not feeding the flock. When it's time to go to camp, you too busy. You're always gonna be working, because matter of fact, get in Matthew's. Where a man's heart is, that's where the church will be also. Because whatever you love, you're gonna be obsessed with that. Like Kobe loved basketball. He was obsessed with that. That's why he was in the gym, in the off season. Same thing with Jordan. Same thing with Steph Curry. With us, we obsessed with this because this is our treasure. right? This word, the word of the Most High is our treasure, and the treasure of the NBA players, they treasure is the game, and the people of the world, they treasure is the world. Whatever they got their mind focused. Some people, they just want to move up the ladder, and they put all their time on that. They'll work 7 days a week just to get a promotion. They'll work 12 hours, 7 days a week just to get promotion because that's what their heart is. Go ahead, read it.
This is Matthew chapter 6, verse 19, right? It says, lay not up for yourselves treasures upon earth where moth and rust do corrupt.
Right. Because the corruptible things, the carnal things, is disposable. Like you have a car, that car could get wrecked. You catch a flat tire, it could break down, the tie rod could go out, the control arm could get changed. It's all corruptible things. So it says, don't lay your treasure on the things on the earth. Some people just they so anxiously want a Tesla or a Rolls Royce, you know, that they looking at the treasure on this earth. So read it again.
Matthew chapter 6, verse 19, and it says, lay not up for yourselves treasures upon earth where moth and rust do corrupt and where thieves break through and steal, but lay up.
Like they had this guy named DC Young Fly, and it was on the news that somebody broke into his car, you know, and they ain't even take nothing. But that's why scripture said, you know, don't lay your treasure on the earth where thieves could break through, because the treasures that we have, the only one that could take it away is the Most High. You know, a man can't take it away because it's up here. Let me finish this.
It says, verse 20, it says, but lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven where neither moth nor rust do corrupt and where thieves do not break through nor steal.
Yeah, that's the scriptures that also include our works. You know, the man can't take that away from you. Go ahead.
It says, for where your treasure is, there will your heart be also.
Right, so where your treasure is, that's where your heart's going to be. So that's going to be your main focus. So if you focus on this, on the word of the Most High, you constantly going to meditate on the word of the Most High. You know, whatever you into, you're going to overly invest into it. So we invest into the Most High. So that's because that's our treasure.
This is Proverbs 8 and 11. For wisdom is better than rubies. All the things that may be desired are not to be compared to it. That's right. So wisdom is far better than wealth. All right. Because it's like the brother mentioned where the riches here is corrupted. All right, it could be taken from you, but the wealth that's here could be taken from you, but wisdom is far greater than wealth, because you got a lot of so-called wealthy people that are complete idiots, man, walking around in this world, man. They don't know anything. They don't know the Most High. All right, they don't know that this place on borrowed time.
This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 8, verse 5. And it says, if riches be a possession to be desired in this life, what is richer than wisdom that worketh all things? So, you know, just to add to the brother's point, hey, man, yeah, they got you could be rich in this life, man, but that's not the true wisdom, especially if you are a Israelite. All right, that's not what matters in this society, man. All right, because in all reality, everything in this society is coming to an end, man. All right, the scriptures say what? You don't envy the heathen, man. Huh? All right, the oppressor, man. All right, and that's what a lot of our people do, man. They fooled by this American dream, you know what I'm saying? You know, they want to do by any means necessary, get rich or die trying. You're like shit like that. That shit is wicked, man. All right.
and we're storing our treasures up in heaven because everyone knows that studies a sound investment, it takes time. And that investment is when no one else sees the prize of it's like foresight. No one else sees the greater picture. And then that's what Esau call a base or flat market. Like when it looks dead, that's the time to get in. That's when the insiders get in. That's what Lord willing what we doing now. Yeah, and great a great and a greater markup, infinite markup.
Says, what is richer than wisdom that worketh all things? All right. So what is richer than this word, man? What's gonna profit you more than this word, man? Nothing. All right. Wisdom. Hey, the scriptures say what, man? Your silver and gold is not gonna save you in the time of the Lord's wrath, man. You know, roughly paraphrasing, man. So this really supposed to be our main focus, man. This is the treasure in heaven that we supposed to be focused on. All right, because the time of calamities is coming, man, and your money and all this other things is not going to save you.
This First Corinthians 3 and start at 18. It says, "Let no man deceive himself. If any man among you seeming to be wise in this world, let him become a fool that he may be wise." Other words, you have to unlearn the things of this world that's unacceptable with the Most High, so you could be taught the right way. Because when you coming into this faith, you got to consider you got to come in the mindset you don't know anything. But that's how you learn. If you come into it think, well, I knew this before, you're gonna start growing. And it says, "For the wisdom of this world is foolishness with the Most High. For it is written, He taketh the wise in their own craftiness. And again, the Lord knoweth the thoughts of the wise, that they are vain."
So the thoughts of the wise of this world is unprofitable, it's vain, it's worth nothing. All right.
Luke 14 verse. For this is of intent tower. For which of you intended to build a tower and set it not first to come the cost, whether you have sufficient to finish it?
Like, because if you're in a construction business, if you start a project, you have to count the cost. Meaning, you have to really calculate what it takes to complete the project. Like, you're going to need laborers, you're going to need different trades, you're going to need trades, carpenters, plumbers, electricians. You know, that's all comes into the budget. Material, you know, you got to calculate too. You got to calculate like variables. You know, you in construction, you run into a lot of variables at times. So sometimes you may have a schedule set for completion, but it's an expectation of completion because you run into variables and things take a little longer. So you gotta count all you gotta put all these things in consideration. So it's referencing towards this word or this faith. You gotta take in consideration, you know, what all the things that it takes to complete this task. Because you're gonna lose a lot before we obtain anything. So read that part again.
Luke chapter 14, verse 28. For which of you intended to build a tower and set it not down first and come the course, whether ye sufficient to finish it? Let's happily after they laid the foundation and was not able to finish it.
Because the foundation is Yahweh Shah. And that's a God that, you know, he entered to the labor. He was doing shows, he was doing videos, but he get offended or he start going through, you know, hell, his family leave him, or whatever the case may be. And he get discouraged and he stop. You know, he just stopped for whatever reason. You know, you become a laughing stock. Like, I mean, you know how many locations I've seen? I'm like, damn, they've been building this location up for the last 4 years and it's been the same. It's like we passed by one building. I'm like, this is like it's like GTA 5, you know, online. Like, you know, GTA, they got their map, they got these construction sites that never get completed. And you know, and it's like, it just always in construction. You're like, what the hell? Like, is it ever going to finish? Go ahead, bro. Read that part again. The foundation.
Less happily after he laid a foundation and is not able to finish it, and behold, it began to mock him, saying, "This man man began to build and he was not able to finish."
Yeah, people begin to mock you. That's why we talk about guys. You know, like, yeah, remember this guy who fell out? That's him being mocked. You know, that's like a guy. You gotta call your car breakdown. The mechanic, he starts the car, and you know he remove everything, he take all the parts out, and they never finish. You be like, what the hell? When you gonna finish the job? You know, that's a person that came in the truth and didn't finish the job. You just walked off the. That's literally what happened. You abandoned the project.
Yeah, like what about the Queens? Somebody, I'll be going out. Well, I'm going on to my people's crib in Queens and shit. The dudes painted one side of the hallway because it's like 11. It's 11 apartments, so each floor is 20 floors in a building. So it's like one half of the shit painted, but they didn't finish it. And I'm looking like that shit was a waste of time.
Yeah, Jake. You know, like, you know, Jake definitely gonna talk shit. You know, like, what happened? The guy ain't finished. You know, but that's a guy that couldn't get involved, but abandoned the project. You know, it's a shameful thing. Is there more on that, or that's it? I guess we could close with that. So, you know, another Friday night to the spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shah, and we're gonna close. And again, we're gonna say all praises and glory to Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shah, Hashem Vakar Kodash. Shalom.